Hello, I'm Jonathan Womack, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee Stories of Homes. We have with us Mr. Gary Clendenon, who is going to show us around a couple different homes today. And the first one we come to is actually very special to him and others of the community, as it was at one time the home of Wayne and Annie Turner. And so this is their old home place where much of the community in Hills Creek come here and was partly raised by this wonderful family. And he's going to tell us more of the background story of that and much more on this edition of Tennessee Stories of Home. Stay tuned.
She carried loads for all the neighbors. Her back was warm from steady labors, coal and kindling to heat a home.
The My Usage app is a way to conveniently pay online, anytime, day or night. You can also come by any Caney Fork Electric office and sign up for the prepay option available using the My Usage app. Know exactly how much electricity is used each day and the cost. Best of all, no monthly bill. You can set up email or text alerts, keep track of your usage, and pay your bill, all with the My Usage app from Caney Fork. Caney Fork Electric, keeping you informed.
Not many things last a lifetime, but when they do, there's something special. Dr. Pepper. Good for life, good for the community.
Douglas and Lanier, that's where I choose to be. Douglas and Lanier, that's the agency for me.
For rock-solid insurance coverage or sound financial planning for my family's future, Douglas and Lanier is where I choose to call home.
Grace Family Pharmacy announces new medication packaging service. It provides a simpler, safer medication experience through convenient, personalized packaging using the latest in pharmacy robotics. We're located at 357 West Main Street. Our phone number is 931-473-6418.
McMinnville, you're a great place to be. McMinnville, Tennessee.
Security Federal Savings Bank is always pleased to provide virtually every banking service you could ever need. But more than that, we are proud to offer a relationship with you, your family, or your company. We've been here supplying just what you need and building a trust, a relationship. And that's something hard to find these days. Our bankers are here for you, here to help. If you are interested in a relationship, come to the friendliest bank in town, Security Federal Savings Bank, member FDIC.
I hope this highway leads me back to town. I've been too long on this road. Maybe this time I'll come back home to stay. I wonder why I ever rode from people that walk like me and talk like me. County fairs and a marching band. Now that I've come back home, I'll never roam again. I've found my place to stand. I'll take any road that gets me back home. Just give me the word to go, and I'll live out my life there on the narrow fork, where in the shadow of the low mud.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Womack, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee Stories of Home. It is the opportunity for us to take time to reminisce and look at the history of much of our community and the home places, the homes, but really much more than just the physical building. It is the stories behind those. And we have Mr. Gary Clendenon. Gary, thank you so much for
my pleasure.
Honestly, we've got several shows with you in the next few months. You guys will be seeing Gary with. I've waited a long time. You're on Southern Music Showcase. You're on a lot of different things. Because you love music, you write music.
I do, yeah.
I don't know what all you can play, but we'll save that for Southern Music Showcase.
Okay.
But today, we sort of come home with you. You're home in Hills Creek, and we've got a couple places we're going to be looking at. This first place, this is special to you because this was your aunt and uncle's?
My great aunt and uncle.
Great aunt and uncle.
Yeah, Wayne and Annie Turner. And they never had any children. But they helped raise 3 generations of children in this area.
And you say different generations of children.
Yes, my father, my father's generation, my father would get off the school bus here and not go home and stay with them. I've stayed here in this house as a kid. They had a spare bed that was kind of in the dining room. And I'd stay there and stay the night with them, but my dad was here frequently. Next door neighbor, Lynn McGregor, they were like his grandparents. And then the younger generations, if there was a mother that was sick or not, or maybe had to go work or something like that, and they needed child care, come here. Saturdays, I think Lynn was up here either, they'd take him squirrel hunting, they'd take him fishing, working in the garden, whatever they were doing, he was doing. And so they were known for their kindness. They never had a whole lot, but they gave a whole lot.
Wow. And we was talking off camera, my children has never even known someone that, or I had the opportunity as a child for just a few years, to see someone very close to us in our neighborhood. Like we was saying earlier, you could walk in any time during the day. If she had toast on the table, then you helped yourself. Yeah. And there was just that feel of love and home, and so that's really here at this old home place. That's what captured that life of that home, right? Is that right?
Absolutely. She would. Aunt Annie always had a meal set and covered on the table. And then if you were here at mealtime, you had to stay and eat. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. You were going to be here eating. She would throw back I never forget, she would throw back the coverlet on the table. She'd take everything, start on and it's a little tiny kitchen. It's nothing like the kitchens today. You can reach across it. And she would start throwing skillets on the stove and warming stuff up, and there'd be 2 kinds of meat, there'd be 4 vegetables, there'd be 2 kinds of pie, and there'd be biscuits and cornbread in just about 15 minutes.
Wow.
And so, it was, it's hard to explain, and it's hard to imagine in this day and time.
That's right. Let's talk to some of the people that has no idea where Hills Creek is. A beautiful community. Tell us where it's situated. For some people, this may be the first time that they've even seen anywhere inside Hills Creek, but Hills Creek is a special place on the planet, and it's very special to you, but where is it situated, and why is it so special to you?
Well, it's the southern part of Warren County near Irving College, and this is where my family has been for about 200 years. And so I've got several generations they're buried in the cemetery up on Hills Creek, and growing up coming to visit my grandparents and visit my great aunt and uncle, and because my dad left here when he, like a lot of people, he left looking for work and went north. Mm-hmm. And we would come to visit then, and so it was very special to me then. And as a kid, I always knew this was home. Wow. Even living 600 miles away, I knew this was home. And so when I was 18, I came back here and lived with my grandparents and went to Tech. And of course, I worked all over the state, but this was always home.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So it had that much of impression, it brought you back home.
Oh, yeah.
Whereabouts up north was you with your
Ohio.
parents?
My dad went to Akron, Ohio, and got a job because the brother of my Uncle Wayne, my Uncle Dick, which was my grandmother's brothers, he had went north. And he had come back to Tennessee, and this was in the, when my dad was a little boy, and he was come back driving a new car, wearing new clothes and smoking a big cigar, and my dad says, that's where I want, because it was hard to make a living in the South in the Depression and during the 40s.
My dad went up north for a while, Detroit. Like many others at a certain time range, and a lot of them, thank goodness, he was back here before I was ever born. But a lot of people sought that. But when it come to Hills Creek as your found home that really was part of your roots, why do you think it's very important for people to have a place like that? I know some people that's watching, maybe they don't have a home place, but I know I can just feel it in the way you're talking about this story. It's very important to you. And why do you think it's important for people to have that?
I don't know, it's a sense of community, I guess, sense of family, just to know that you belong somewhere. And I guess to look at, there's so much specialness, if that's a word, here in every facet, the way the people work together and are part of a community. That's and all the natural diversity that's here, all the history that's here. It's just to me, it's mind-boggling.
Gary, I know it's a busy Saturday that we're filming this, but it's quiet.
I
mean, dude, it's just quiet.
Well, you'll be here on the evenings late. So when the whippoorwills start hollering.
Oh, wow. So, how many residents lives in Hills Creek area?
Oh, gosh. I wouldn't know. It's, I wouldn't think much over 100 maybe at the most.
Okay. But it's a place they call home.
Yes.
Going back to this home place, your great aunt and uncle built this, you saying maybe 1920s?
In the 20s, yes. Sometime in the 1920s.
And for whatever reason, they had no children. But there was some people that lived with them from time to time. Tell me just a little bit about the known history.
Well, I know my dad would come here and stay with them at times. He would get off the school bus here and stay all night, maybe a couple nights in the road, and then go home. You got to go home. But you talk to your mom and dad. But they never. Nobody. I don't know that they ever actually lived with them that much, but they stayed here a lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
it was in and out.
It was in and out, and it was a tiny home. It was just 2 rooms. And whatever they had, whoever come, that's what they had it too.
Property, I guess. Did they talk about going up top of the mountain? I know you got a mountain in behind here.
Yeah, this is actually the escarpment of the Cumberland Plateau. The Big Sink lays over that way, and if you went, if you went straight and kept walking, you'd come out about Wildwood Road out on Harrisonburg Mountain.
Okay.
So, but yes, my uncle, my great uncle, Uncle Wayne, and my dad, I've heard them talking about working up in the Big Sink, which is just right down here, just a little ways. It's a high cove up in the mountain, and it's good agricultural land. So he would grow corn up there, but then they'd have to haul it down the mountain. And so it was dangerous. I mean, they had teams of mules. We're talking a wagon and a teams of mules, and they were used to, with their heavy loads, they would tie a log behind the wagon. So the wagon would drag the logs to keep it slow coming down the mountain. And my dad would do when he was a kid, he would go with him to farm up there. Wow. So just the danger that and the hard work that they did just to make a living.
Yeah. Do you think part of this has inspired you to write some of the songs you've written?
Absolutely. I wrote a song exactly about that right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've got a whole album out actually of songs that are historical in nature.
That's good. Tell folks how they can get a hold of that.
It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. Gary Clendenon. The name of the album is 150 Years. And it's loaded up with banjo, fiddle, and guitar music, a little native flute. There's songs about the Trail of Tears. There's songs about cattle drives. There's songs about daily life, moonshine battles, whatever was on there. So
I see some of your adventures. I don't know if you're GoProing it or whatever you.
Usually my phone, yeah.
Phone.
Usually my phone or a camera, your regular camera.
You're out in the nature. You love nature. You love history.
Yes.
And make sure you check out more about Gary and some of his beautiful music. Gary, in closing on this part of our show, some of the best memories you have here what would be some of those recounts of history and memories you have?
Oh my, I don't know. Just sitting on the front porch talking, listening to the stories, and that are part of the stories that I'm telling you. It's like my uncle told me about building this chimney. When he's building the house, he'd never built a chimney before, and he's having to, to heat his home, he had to have a chimney. So he's putting the rocks together, and it's not working out right, because he'd never done it. Well, Uncle Jeff Lytle, who was the grist miller, was also, I guess, a really good stonemason. And Uncle Jeff lived about another 3 miles on up the road at the grist mill. He came down here and helped Uncle Wayne, showed him the right kind of rocks to get, showed him how to get this chimney started, and he said, then I got my chimney built.
Wow. That's how people did.
That's how they did.
By the way, we better come back to that same idea, because we need that in communities.
Yeah, people helping one another. I mean, just...
You've got a picture that is really, really unique. It is took right here on the front porch.
Yeah.
What are we seeing? And there's several different people. One of the people, your grandmother, I believe, that was in the
It would
back.
have been my great-grandmother.
Great-grandmother.
Photobombed my...
She was hiding out.
Yeah,
right?
she was hiding out. I don't think she wanted her picture made, but she wanted to see the picture being made, and she didn't realize it, but it's my aunt and great aunt and uncle, Uncle Wayne and Annie. My dad looks like he's about maybe 7. Wow. Sitting on the front porch, and then my great uncle Wayne's mother.
Yeah. And your dad's name?
My dad's Fred Clendenon. Yeah,
And, where is he laid at rest?
He up at Hills Creek.
Okay.
Yeah, my father's there, my grandfather, my great grandfather, and my brother are all there, plus other family, aunts and uncles, and then go back. I descend on through. One of the first settlers, Henry J. Hill, which Hills Creek was then renamed for. I descend through him also.
Well, make sure you check out Gary's wonderful music. Also, check out some of the stuff like we've been talking about that you'll see Gary on several shows, even upcoming shows that we have. It's been a pleasure meeting you here at this home place. We have more home places with Gary we're going to tour. Make sure you check those out. And until always, we say we hope to see you inside your community.
Warm the soul, saddle up Maudie, that fine gray mare. She's seen us through all the times, from lean to fair. She watched the mountains around her grow older, mattered little when the wind blew colder.